Hello, my name is Dr. Jessica Parker, and I am the author of ASL Concepts Curriculum. I wanted to tell you a little bit about me and how I got started with this. I am a CODA, which means I'm a child of a deaf adult. So I grew up in deaf culture, and ASL is my first language. And one thing I learned as I became a deaf ed teacher is that the deaf really do not fully understand their own language. So my goal, of course, I love teaching hearing children ASL, but also to teach deaf children ASL. So one thing you will notice that is different about this ASL curriculum is, yes, of course, it teaches vocabulary, but most importantly, it teaches culture, history, grammar, and a sense of self. So that was really my goal when I was creating this ASL curriculum. And so I'm going to show you a few of the books and things that I've created over the years. So first thing, I have something kind of fun, is I have some Gofish Cards in sign language based off of Alaska animals. So like this is owl, and this is the sign for owl. Pretty simple. And these are Alaska animals specifically, so you'll find things like muskox and salmon that you won't find in that the lower 48 doesn't really know about. So it's a very simple game and a very easy way to teach your kids sign language. I have an Alaska animal coloring book. It looks like this. And it has the animal, they can color, the sign, and then a little kind of interesting description about the animal. But that's the same concept. So you could be like, do you have an owl? And you could look at your cards and go, oh yes, I have an owl. So it's just a fun, easy way to learn the Alaska animal signs. So I have that. I have the Alaska animal coloring book. I also have a deaf culture coloring book, which I'm very proud of. And this was made to really teach about deaf concepts. Like, did you know there's Deaf Olympics? This is the symbol for Deaf Olympics. And then here's the sign. It's like this because of the circles, the continents. Devia is deaf visual art. And I had permission to recreate this by the artist herself, Ann Silver, who is a deaf artist. And the Football Huddle. Did you know that the Football Huddle was invented by deaf football players at Gallaudet University? Of course, we have like hearing aid and things like that. So this is pretty cool. It just features deaf people, deaf history, deaf concepts. So a great way, if you're teaching sign language, this is a great way to incorporate some history and culture in a simple way. Okay. This is an ABC book meant to just teach the ABCs, right? And it always has a concept that is related, like Q, question marker. This is when you lower or raise your eyebrows when asking a question. In English, we tend to bring our voice up, but in ASL, we use our eyebrows. So, what is your name? Okay, other things I have that are fun. A story of American Sign Language. How was ASL invented? The history is really, really special. So I teamed up with a deaf artist and a deaf writer who created this. This is the only book I didn't myself write. I just published. So anyways, it's about these little kids who go back in time and they meet Laurent Clerc and Gallaudet and learn about the history of how American Sign Language came to America. Spoiler alert, it was not from Great Britain. Nope, our languages are completely different. It's actually our language came from France. Pretty cool. Okay, this story is especially particularly special to me. This is me and this is my dad. This is all true that's in here. It just talks about kind of how I learned to grow up with a deaf father. Like when I would have friends over and we would like be rowdy and jump around, my dad would tell me to be quiet and I didn't understand. And it's because vibrations to him is the same as sound. So it's just a story about, I used to get scared when I'd crawl in bed with my parents, and then my dad had one of those vibrating alarm clocks that would shake the bed. So just every page has some deaf kind of culture inside of it, and it's inspired by real events. Okay, I did not write this book. This is A World of Knowing. This is a small chapter book, really great for older elementary, and it is about the story of Alice and Gallaudet. But it's a chapter book. But what I did make is I got permission to use this, and I created a study guide to go with it. So if you're wanting to read a good chapter book with your kids, you're teaching sign language, I would say like 3rd to 5th grade, they can read this on their own. It's very simple, but then there's, like, you can study literary devices and vocabulary and, hyperbole, imagery, but then also some comprehension questions. So this is meant to be a study guide to this. I really created this for deaf schools. I wanted deaf children to study their own stories about their own history and culture. And then I have 2 pieces of curriculum, and this is the meat. This book right here is what got me started. Chicka Chicka Boom Boom and Are You My Mother? I particularly love this one because this was my first one, and it has 20 lessons, and this is great for homeschool moms. It spoon feeds you the lessons. So I'm going to show you an example. Okay, Dexis and pronouns. So Dexis is pointing. You, me, he, she, it. So in ASL, we use pointing for pronouns. Now, possessive pronouns are flat hand like this. So you'll notice it says my. So this is I, and this is my. And so there's a visual. Here's a little story or a little introduction. Dear parents, this month our theme is based on Are You My Mother? And then all the parts in red is what you would say to your child. So, do you see my teddy bear? I can't find it. Do you see my stuffed dog? And it tells you play stuffed animals across the room. Where is it? And then hopefully the kids will point. Oh, it's there. Oh, it's there. How did you just show me where my stuffed animals were? You pointed. That's right. Well, in ASL, pointing is a very important part of ASL grammar. Pointing is called Dexis. We're going to learn all about Dexis today. La, 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 right? And you teach your lesson, but I tell you exactly what to say. And then here's the worksheet that they do. Cut out the Dexis hand-shaped cards, which is right here, and glue it to the above correct word. Oh, they can cut these out if they want, the little ones or the flat hands. And where is the Dexis? The book is over there. So they would glue the little finger over the word book. So this is kind of a different kind of curriculum because, of course, it teaches vocabulary. It's in the beginning, but it also teaches grammar and culture and history. And I have some other cool things like ABC cards. My videos are all free. They're online, aslconcepts.com. And I have videos that go with all of this stuff, like every lesson. And all of my videos are signed by deaf performers and good friends of mine here in Alaska, and we're all local. And we're pretty proud of what we've created, and we've got a lot of cool stuff coming. One really, really, really big thing coming, but I can't tell you. I can't tell you yet. So, anyways, if you have any questions, you can email me. I am hard to reach, so my mom, Jenny Patton, has really been helping me maintain orders and classes and things like that. We also do ASL classes, and so I'm going to do a separate video about that. Okay, thank you. Bye.